I think I.
Let me just get this because I don't need anyone commenting on ashy ankles of any sort. Here,
Stop. I'm gonna wait until you finish lotioning yourself.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I think we should have a segment
No,
of
I don't
Kaycee
think
just
I don't think we should, guys. Not at all.
she thought this was the appropriate time to do it.
No, I didn't see my ankles
cream her
beforehand. No, because that would be something like great podcast, but I was distracted by the ashy ankles. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Do you know what? I saw someone was trying to advertise something. Like, it was some guy who was advertising something. And he was holding on to it in an Instagram picture the other day. And I have never seen such crusty hands in my entire life.
Do you know what my biggest pet peeve is? When you're looking on ASOS, and especially shoes.
What are you about to say?
No. Listen, yeah. So when you're going to buy shoes from ASOS, they're like heels.
Yeah.
And then they like have a close-up of the foot and they just haven't creamed the foot.
No
or
way.
Yeah, and
really?
they've just got higgy-hugger toenails.
No. They might not have had time.
Not the stylist.
What with all that hair and makeup?
No.
You might not have had time. But I suppose we all do have the same 24 hours.
What a fantastic segue.
What a fantastic segue. So, guys, we are in. Welcome to the No Karen's Club podcast. We've got a returning guest, Kaycee.
Your favourite.
Wait.
She showed a bit of
My
favourite.
I'm sorry, but look at the receipts. How many times have I been on this podcast?
Yeah,
because you got a lot to say.
Anyway, that's not the way we're going to take that. Go ahead.
Do you know what? I think I've become a little bit hostile in 2022.
Why?
I woke up on New Year's Day and I just felt like
fuming.
Fear of violence. No more Zen Hannah.
That's a bit mad. But let's just get into it. I'm not going to lie. We spoke about 24 hours. We've already said it. What did you think of this whole? We've all got the same 24 hours. So for
there's a lot to unpack. Okay, let's give like if you live under a rock for some obscure reason, basically.
You've been one wasting your 24 hours.
To cut a long story short, I mean, she did the interview a little while back, but the clip went viral like in the last 2 weeks on the Diary of a CEO.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah, I think that's quite important context to it. And basically, there's a clip of Molly-Mae explain. This is not like verbatim, but this is basically what she said, that we all have the same 24 hours, and she was
just
basically
like Beyonce, she said,
just like Beyonce, and she was basically implying that she just uses those 24 hours to work really hard, and that's how she's gotten where she is today, which I mean, I guess we'll get into it. And technically,
she's not wrong.
She's and she said that to her. She was like, "People." Do you know what's mad? She said, "I've got backlash for saying this before."
So I'm gonna rewind and say it again.
I had backlash for saying this before, but technically we do. Like this girl was like, "Do you bitches not have the same measure of time?"
Yeah, really
do you
bizarre.
Guys not have watches?
Do you know what? Get her a button that she presses and it just repeats itself.
Pretty much, but yeah, it wasn't.
There has been videos of that as well, where she said it on
she
numerous
has said it
podcasts.
She said it on the Pretty Little Thing one, like.
But also, the following that Stephen Bartlett's podcast has is mad. Guys, help us get to that following. with our 400 followers. We love our 400 followers.
We need to get to a cheeky 1K.
Do you know what I thought was hilarious as well? She goes, I never do interviews or talks.
Probably for the best, babe.
I thought that was interesting as well, because I was like, when you look through Twitter or whatever, there's literally about 6 or 7 clips that come up with the same hair saying the same thing on different podcasts, and I think do have this conversation.
Maybe she means like 4 more interviews.
I think because you have to understand, like, obviously with her like influence, I bet loads of people are like, "Oh, do you want to jump on and speak about this? Do you want to do that?" And she's just like, no. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Do you know what? I do think though. I was listening to a lot of podcasts, but somebody made a good point that she wasn't ready for that podcast.
Yeah,
of course
the
she wasn't.
The role that she has got a Pretty Little Thing. Granted, yes, it's on par with, if arguably, CEOs and big business managers, but she hasn't been doing it for long. Is she even 6 months? Is she past probation?
Also,
is she even into the role that day?
Also, I'm still learning about business. I have no idea.
Yeah, of course, because like when you listen to it, she didn't know the difference between gross and net profit, and then Stephen Bartlett was like, "That you even correct her."
The basics.
Do you know what I mean? And that's fair, but the fact that she was like, "Okay, I don't."
Maybe she's given her a year into it, and maybe she could have talked from a bit of hindsight. But
I think apart from that, she does do the job of an influencer to a T. She just looks pretty and
Bloody
she posts,
hell.
and that's all you really need to do. So when I saw that she did that, I was like, why have you done that for? Because at the end of the day, I don't look for influencers to be the voice of socioeconomic issues. Do you know what I mean?
Which is why...
Do you know
Yeah,
what I
but the podcast isn't necessarily for socioeconomic
No, but
issues,
generally, if you're looking at influencers, I don't look to influencers for opinions
to
on,
comment on
these
on politics.
things,
Yeah,
or stuff
people
like
have said that, to be fair, at least on,
They're
I
selling
know,
dreams,
on
that's
Twitter,
why.
yeah. I mean, it's obviously like a bit of an echo chamber considering kind of who you follow, but that was the vibe, like, why are you guys so surprised? Like, she's not equipped to consider the nuances in that dumbass statement that she said.
Like, I don't even think we need to unpack why that's wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, why what she said was wrong.
I don't
was
know. I
it
feel like
wrong?
someone wants to hear it somewhere, don't they?
Would you say it was wrong, or would you say...
So what I
say
said
it
on
was
my
naive.
Twitter, I basically said, right, everyone's like, she needs to apologise. I was like,
No,
she
she
doesn't need to
apologise.
apologise. I was like, at the end of the day, she hasn't said anything offensive.
No.
She said her opinions, and technically, opinions aren't wrong.
Yeah,
Do you
she
know-
hasn't
do you know
said
what I
anything
mean?
wrong.
So I was like, the extent of it is her ignorance is annoying. And her naivety is a bit frustrating.
And she's
but I wouldn't
22,
I wouldn't go further
guys.
than that.
Like, at the end of the day, I mean, speaking from myself, at 22, I probably did know about all of those issues. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try and have her back on that one and say I don't, and she should know.
She's
should.
an adult,
But
like, nonetheless.
If you think about the life that she's led up into this point, of course she's not going to be open to the strifes of other people. And
She
and
really
things like that.
thinks, though.
Like, the one... I think...
But we actually do have the same 24 hours.
But I feel like people
do,
are
though.
arguing that, though. People are arguing that with their chest, and they're so passionate about it, and I understand that. But just because you're getting it on a technicality does not mean that it's right what she said. Do you know what I mean? Like,
It was just very... That's why when I tweeted about it, I was like, listen, this is mad. Regardless, generally, it's very tone deaf. But we've been in a global pandemic coming 300 years next year at this point. So I was like, the way to say that in the context of the pandemic specifically, that for me was even more mad. Like, what have you been living in that you get to? That's where the tone deafness for me just felt like you're really not reading the room ever.
I think what was really funny, she was like, we've got the same 24 hours as Beyonce, but Beyonce's 24 hours is incredibly relieved by the personal chefs
the
and the nannies.
literal
And-
army that she has behind her,
But-
which she acknowledges.
she says that as well.
Yeah.
She's like, it is impossible to do it alone.
Alone, she couldn't do it alone. She never
says, like, without
has.
Fran, she could not do it. Like, she could not be
Yeah.
where she is right now. And okay, I'm gonna give her
I mean,
a little bit props for
Acknowledging that.
taking her own tongue from her
Fran
own
should have been on
arse
there, not
for a
her.
second.
That's what I said. I was like, well, Fran didn't prep for
Fran's the
this,
one
did
who's
she?
using the 24 hours here, love.
Fran, like, but at the end of the day, she's acknowledging that, and that's great and whatever. But like, so what are you expecting from other people if you're getting all of this help?
Yeah.
What are you expecting other people to have? Because they don't have access to help. Some people have no friends, no family, and she's quite happy to have no friends, but she's got family.
no
Do you know what I mean?
friends.
Like,
I think what she was trying to say, just so it's not like, let's drag her face through the ground, innit?
I don't. Everyone
But-
that keeps saying that, shut up.
What?
Like, no one
On
is.
my own podcast?
Sorry, but no, I don't know what people have been seeing, but no one, I think, at least to correct me if I'm wrong, but I have not seen anything violently malicious
No.
said to her. Granted, I would say the backlash is mad.
I
would
haven't seen...
the
no one's
backlash
been-
is mad.
No one...
But I'm thinking,
No one's been nasty, no one's been unkind, because even when I was tweeting about it, I'm
you
a
guys
fan of
use
Molly-Mae.
the internet, right?
yeah, no,
guys-
I'm not.
No,
I'm not
use the
saying. I'm not
internet.
saying that there haven't been.
Yeah.
But
But there
people,
wasn't loads.
But the people make it seem as if, as a result of saying that,
That's wrong.
the overwhelming response was malicious and nasty things. Not that
No.
the overwhelming response was simply critiquing what she said.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to make clear.
I completely agree with you
I'm
there.
not saying that she didn't get malicious.
So-
Somebody did probably tell her to kill herself in her DMs as a result of that. I'm sure she gets
God.
millions of those DMs a year.
I think because what I was seeing a lot of, and I think this is what you're getting at, and everyone like just let me finish my point before you're like, oh my god, but but everyone was like, oh guys, be kind, be kind, be kind. But I'm like, no one was being nasty. We can critique and say what you said was ignorant and naive
Yeah, we
without
just
us
don't
being
agree.
nasty, and I just think it is quite telling if the majority of the people who've heard what you said disagree. It's not us being nasty for us saying, actually, you maybe shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Also, did anyone see her response?
Do you know what? I didn't see an apology. I meant to watch it today.
So effectively, right, whilst Kaycee's getting it up, it was effectively, I said what I said, I'm sorry you don't feel the same way.
Where is it? I've got a screenshot.
I mean, you've got to give it to her that she backs herself 150%.
Do you want to read it out?
Go on. Let's hear what she has to say.
I wanted to come back online today as normal, but I feel like before I do, I just want to say this. When I say or post anything online, it's never with malice or ill intent. First, I completely appreciate that things can affect different people in different ways. However, I just want to stress that I would never intend to hurt or upset anyone by anything that I say or do. I apologize to the people that have been affected negatively or misunderstood the meaning of what I said in this podcast. The intention of the podcast were only to ever tell my story and inspire from my own experience. Love you all always, X. And she basically said, I said what I said, you know. Like, and I'm not...
She was like, I'm sorry that you just don't understand that we do have
the same 24 hours.
But do you know what it is? They're like, her saying, oh, I'm sorry to people that have been affected negatively. Nobody has, per se. They're just saying you're being very naive and ignorant to a lot of the harsh realities of life, and you are living in this bubble. And I think for her to say, you know, I've done this all myself, okay... One thing I will say is you cannot take away from her that she's a hard worker. 100% cannot take that away from her. I know plenty of hard workers
that will never see a dime of what she's made.
Any of that.
No.
So what she needs to do is at least tip her cap. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Someone pay me. She needs to sit there and tip her cap to the lucky circumstances that she's happened upon.
I love your British colloquialisms. Tip her cap. I never hear me say that, bro.
Literally. Because, like, her sitting there all the way through, and she reiterates it on numerous occasions, like, I've done this. I've literally done this all myself. Got to the top. My hard work's got me here, and whatever. Like, and then she said, like, Love Island was a platform, and that was it. Like, honey.
She really needs to consider how unequal that playing field was.
She's not even looked at her own cast.
Yeah.
And thought, what possibly could be the difference? She's just gone, I'm fantastic. I've nailed this. I'm just good.
You know, I just worked bloody hard when I came out of the island.
Rose tinted glasses.
Not even the winner was offered a £2 million deal from Pretty Little Thing. So give it a rest, darling.
I mean, where do you go from here? Like, I get that with influencing and stuff, like, I don't really think it's fair to say, like, oh, all you've got to do is be an influencer, because... No,
I don't think that's fair either.
If me and you know anything from starting a podcast, it's that social media is hard work.
And it's not for everyone.
We literally work full jobs. We have some side jobs, and we have podcasts. Like, the podcast stuff, to fit that in, sometimes you can feel like you're bashing your head against the wall. I literally do it on my 1 hour break at my work, and I'm just like, I just sit and post, create content. So with that, just a small insight, and that's not even our livelihood, that's not anything like that. I think it arguably could be easier to make it your livelihood because you're dedicating all of your time to it, but the stress and the actual upkeep of that is so much bigger than what people generally see.
Can I say something on the flip side?
Oh,
so it's just to think, right?
Are you playing devil's advocate, or are you like...
Yeah, of course. Of course. You know what? I hate when people say that, because my mum used to be like, why are you advocating for Satan? But anyway, right. I don't dispute that she's worked very hard. Okay? I don't. Okay. However, her idea of working hard will be different from somebody else's idea of working hard. So bearing in mind, she's 22. So when she went into the island, she was probably about 19, which probably leads me to believe that she didn't go to uni.
No, she didn't. She moved to Manny straight after.
Exactly. And then no, but I'm saying she probably came straight out of college and then just went on to a show. So she was probably living at home
She
didn't
moved
go
to
to
Manchester
college.
for herself for a little bit.
She went to arts college, fashion college.
Yeah,
Only
no,
because
totally. Nonetheless,
London.
go on.
And then
someone
went to
who
Manchester.
Has a bit more life experiences.
has a bit more life experience would have worked hard, and that isn't kind of a shock to them. So I'm probably saying that her working hard, and this is very, very controversial, may not have been massively different from the average person's working hard. She just hasn't done it before. So for example,
Oh yeah, it's all relative, really. Isn't
yeah,
it?
exactly, it's all relative. So for example, when I saw a video of her going to, I think it was like the shipping or delivery department of PLT, and she said, okay guys, what hours are you doing? And they were like, oh, 1. She goes, oh yeah, so they're doing the 1 till 8, and they were like, no, 1 to 1. She's like, 1 till 1, and I'm like, I'm not being funny. If you've worked in the hospitality industry in the bar, standard
16-hour shift.
standard.
If you're nice.
No
So-
break unless you smoke.
But the fact that her jaw was literally dropped, and she's like, oh my god, 1 till 1, and like that's actually not uncommon. You can work in hospitality and do that. You can work in deliveries and do that. You can work in Amazon
NHS and do
more
that.
than that. So I'm a bit like, to her that was just absolutely unfathomable. And then I saw another video of her going, guys, like I literally work so hard, and again I believe she is working very, very hard for her, right? because she was like, I am in the PLT office headquarters all the time. I go there once a week. I'm literally there every day. And I was like, I can't believe that you didn't even take a breath and you said those two things in the same sentence.
But
So like,
it doesn't stop just going into the office. None of us. Well, I don't work in the office anymore, but it doesn't mean I'm not working all damn day. Like,
Okay, it's not that I fully disagree with what you said. I just, how do I word this without sounding like, yeah, basically like a nasty human being? I don't
That's why we get her on the pod.
disagree
yeah.
with her thinking that she works hard. Does that make sense?
Because I believe she does work hard.
No, I'm not. This is where I disagree. I don't know if she went that hard, but she thinks she does. And who am I to tell you what to think? Do you know what I mean? Like, think what you want about yourself. So I would not disagree that she thinks she works hard. And I agree with in her world, yeah, obviously going to the office more than 1 day a week is hard. Fine, fair enough. It's all relative.
Because no one wants to be there.
But in the grand scheme of things, I do think there's like a very universal idea of working hard, which is obviously aligned to like working class kind of ideas about what work is. And she just doesn't touch that. And for me, the further away you are from that, darling, it's not giving her work. It's not. It's not. But she can think she does or she doesn't. I support that.
guys,
Hold that note
she
because
went
I
to the
want to...
gym,
Oh, Lord.
I believe.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny though. I did, a spin class with you on Monday. And when I got home, I went straight to sleep.
Did you?
I went straight to sleep.
While I'm crying about my stolen earphones, you're catching some Z's.
I'm not being funny. I text you condolences.
She did.
Condolences,
She
you
did, because she saw
know.
me circle back to go back to the gym, and I went in. Do you know what? I got a lecture. That's what I got. A lecture, and I went, I'm going to stop you right there.
This is not
I'm
time.
taking the L. I was just asking to see. I know they're stolen. I know what I should have done, but I didn't.
But what you were saying, hold that thought, because I do actually want to go on later to talk about hustle culture, which I think is really, really interesting.
Yeah.
But so this leads me on to say, right, with influencers, I think people just need to be okay with being influencers. You don't have to be
You don't have to be
ambassadors,
business people as well.
ambassadors or advocates for, I don't know, world crises. Like sometimes I feel like they just feel. I think they just sometimes feel that pressure. Like, okay, I've got all this influence.
What?
No, that's true. Like a lot of influencers.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I feel like some. Wait, let me say before you get. I can see your heads going. Go, but I'm saying some influencers feel the pressure that they have to speak on certain issues because they've got But if you don't have the education,
I'm applying pressure right now.
But 1 second,
No, I don't agree with that. Yeah,
I disagree because
I'm on more that
because
side,
if you don't have the education, you're doing more harm than good. So look at what Molly-Mae did, for example. Another really interesting example was back when you had the Black Lives Matter movement. Everyone was pressuring Allure Jack, aka Jack Fowler, from Love Island.
Leave that man alone.
Huh?
Do you remember that man alone? Like,
Yeah,
he
no.
can't say no.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone was saying to him, okay, you love black culture, you emulate black culture to a degree, And they were like, however, you're not saying anything on these issues.
Did he not say jack shit?
Don't know. He just no, but
Sorry. Did he not say pim, or was he not saying enough?
No, but the thing is, he wasn't saying anything. But like, bearing in mind, you've got loads of other influencers or celebrities who weren't necessarily saying anything. So, for example, you had J. Cole who wasn't saying anything.
Oh,
stuff like
okay,
that.
right, okay.
But you don't always have to say stuff. I think because people were so passionate and heated, they just wanted to get support from everywhere.
Understand.
So everyone was saying to Jack, right, you've got all these black friends, you have you're influenced by black culture, so you must say something. So he basically said that, tweeted about George Floyd, and honey, you should have just said nothing. So basically he was like, I don't understand why police have to kill men that pose minimal threat. And everyone got upset because they were like,
baby, just as long as you're doing the work in real life, you ain't got to tweet.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying from an influencer culture. So I think it's amazing that you have influencers who do have influence. However, it's not every day I must speak out about certain issues. You have to be educated. And I think it's fantastic that some influencers use that platform. So, for example, Dr. Alex George, he's now like an advocate for young people's mental health. And that's phenomenal because he has the knowledge and experience to talk about that. However, I find it quite frustrating that you've got people like Molly-Mae, like, okay, right, I've now been given this position as CEO, so let me tell you all about business and how to hustle hard.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that because I don't think that she necessarily is talking about business in that. I think she tried to steer away from that at all costs because she was like...
She went on a podcast called The Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, but she got asked to do it and it's got a lot of following. I mean...
I get why she said yes. I'm not...
Yeah,
100%.
If you were given an opportunity to that, you'd be stupid to say no.
I think that's why she said in that apology note, I went on there to tell my...
She said she doesn't know anything about business. She's not there to talk about business. She's talking about herself, which is what she's good at. Let's be honest. But, let's be honest. But I half agree with you. I don't think you need to speak on everything at all times. Like, that's a bit much. That's a lot. But I do think you have a responsibility, if you were an influencer, as it's in your name, as an influencer, is to go and educate yourself on these things because people are looking to you for information or whatever. Not necessarily you have to go and tell people what to think or do whatever, but like encourage people to go and educate themselves, encourage people to take steps in their own life. I think you should do that because you're getting young, impressionable people coming up, and the best way to turn this life around these days is through influencers because kids listen to them. Like, so if they're not educating themselves, if they're thinking, don't really need to comment on it, don't really know anything about it, that's fine, we'll just sidestep it.
Let's go tonight then.
What a luxury that is. Is that not a privilege?
Yeah.
Is that not super privilege?
Okay. You know what's really funny that you said that? It reminded me of this video that I watched. You know how in America, like, they proper drug you up when you're getting teeth taken out?
Yeah.
So basically...
Which is mad. Mate. They don't do it that
It sounds like
bad.
a tangent, but it's...
Give it to me.
It's sounding like a tangent, but actually it fits. So there's this girl, like, she's drugged up. She's probably about 18, 19, and she's, like, crying in the car to her mum. She's like, Mom, I'm not gonna lie to you. I dropped out of college because I think studying is stupid, and all the people on TikTok said that I don't have to study. I can just be I can just be TikTok famous and that'll be fine. All the influencers do it, and I'm like, girl,
darling,
TikTok told her to.
Oh, bless her.
Say that fast.
Bless her.
Well, I think that ties in what you were saying about it's really important for influencers to use their platform.
They need to have the right message.
Yes. However, I think sometimes it is good to stick to what you know. Do you know what I mean? If she's good at selling Pretty Little Thing and tanning products,
sell it up products though, because that came under fire, didn't it?
Well, girl, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. That if I was tan, that wouldn't be my choice of tan.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
It came up with all the blackfishing stuff. She was like literally.
Oh my god, yeah, the amount of apologies that Molly-Mae had to do, sis was tired.
But she did say it. She's like, I'm
at
just
the time,
waiting for the next scandal to
like
drop.
at this point.
I love the way she said it in there, and then it caused a scandal. She
do you know what it is for me?
She knew
it
was written.
I don't agree with like this notion of responsibility. I think that's where I disagree with you. I don't think influencers have a responsibility to talk on social issues. You don't have to. I don't personally think you have to. I don't think I understand like literally like they influence and whatnot, but I don't think it's their responsibility. I understand that. I don't know. Maybe not the not.
No,
the
I do agree with
it's
what
not
you're
the. I
saying,
think it's the
but
word
also
responsibility
disagree.
that's
too
right.
heavy for
Yeah,
you.
maybe that's too heavy
So
for me.
for-
Because at the end of the day, granted, I get it when you've got a young following. Then I can be like, you have a big responsibility for the sort of content that you're putting out. That's very different. But the large majority of your audience are adults. Whilst you should use your platform for good and to encourage people to educate themselves, it is not your responsibility. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I do agree with what you're saying. Like,
But encourage maybe is better words.
Yeah, I agree and disagree. So, for
That's
example,
why I
it
say
reminds me.
encourage for people to do their own work, but just like sidestepping everything is not the way. Because
So it reminds me of this interview that I saw on Ellen with Nicki Minaj, where basically Ellen was like, do you realise that your lyrics are a little bit explicit? Do you not feel like you have responsibility for what you're putting out there? And Nicki was like, she was like, well, I'm not their mothers.
I'm not raising your children.
So I get what you're saying in that respect, because I'm like, at the end of the day, what's out there in the world is out there in the world.
Yeah.
And you can't take it upon yourself as a single human being to...
The only time I agree with that is if your audience is young.
Yeah.
If your audience is young, that's mad to not talk on like certain things or to talk about certain things, because it just doesn't.
If you're a
make
Nickelodeon
sense.
star, like at the end of the day, let's not talk about ass and titties.
Like,
Do you know what I mean? Let's just not do it.
that's
where
all
do you
really.
draw the line though if you're putting an age on it? I just feel like there's adults that have the mental age of a fucking 10.
It's just on your. You
You
know
know,
what your
also
audience
not my
is.
problem.
Like that JoJo girl. What's her name? Their name even. I think it's they. I think it's they them.
JoJo something.
Yeah,
I don't
pronouns
know.
are they them.
I know exactly who you mean. Are they
I'm
a
not
TikTok?
sure.
They're
Yeah,
a TikTok.
Oh, I
they're
thought you
dancer.
were
TikTok.
talking about like the singer.
No.
JoJo. I was literally like, what?
Love you,
Yeah,
JoJo.
we
No,
wouldn't
the
be
dancer
we would be
JoJo.
speaking about her if this podcast was done in 2002.
Sorry, wait, hold on, what? You don't like JoJo?
Do you still? Anyway, that's...
No, I do like JoJo.
Do you not listen to her now? Damn. Anyway, that's
No,
the
because
conversation
it's
for the
2020.
day.
Put a pause on you.
Yeah. Anyway,
What were you
anyway,
gonna say?
JoJo.
I just won't put this episode out.
I really
How
don't
editing.
want to get their pronouns wrong, so I'm just gonna say they them
Yeah,
because
it's
I'm
fine.
genuinely not
Yeah.
sure. But they have a very clear young audience. The audience is like,
But
50,
they're young though. Are they
and
not like...
JoJo's not
16?
that young.
Is she 16?
JoJo's not that young.
Okay.
But
Can you have a check?
I
but
don't
their
think who I'm supposed to
audiences
be.
So put TikTok, JoJo.
dancer.
I don't. I think they're just TikTok famous.
Okay, right. Okay.
But this is my like. ignorant
how old
share.
are they?
Can you go?
I
Oh,
thought they were, like,
Wikipedia will say.
I thought they were like 17.
Also, talk about Wikipedia really, really quickly. Did anybody see that? People edited Molly-Mae's Wikipedia.
To what?
Molly-Mae Thatcher.
No. How the fact that it's so easy to do that is so
She's
worrying.
18.
18.
So JoJo's
okay.
18.
Right, JoJo's 18.
But bearing in mind,
they've
that
been
means-
around for, I'd say, bubbling
three
3 years. Nonetheless, their
Exactly.
audience is young and has grown up with them. So in scenarios like that, there's a lot more responsibility. When JoJo gets to 25 and her audience is also in that pocket, do what they want.
But
They ain't
also
got
at the
speaking to
same
anymore.
time, they are a lot less culpable for, in my view, what they would say as a TikTok star,
Compared
especially
to-
2-3 years ago,
Oh yeah.
because they're also a child.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because
So
the
for
context
example,
is different.
it
Yeah, I
sounds
understand
It
that.
sounds really random to have this as another tangent, but Mason Kardashian or Mason Disick,
Oh, Mason.
absolutely love your Instagram, boo. Oh my days,
No,
did you laugh?
Mason, you want to come on the podcast?
But she's not responsible for anything she says, because at the end of the day, she's a kid.
Wait, you know
with
about a
friend.
boy, Mason?
Is Mason the boy?
Yeah, Scott's oldest kid. Scott and Courtney's oldest boy.
How old is it? How old is
Maybe like Mason's maybe like, I don't know, kids in America look
You are
old.
looking at the wrong person.
But anyway, so basically, yeah, basically, their Instagram, they just put whatever the hell they want on it. So, for
yeah.
example, their post the other day, does anybody even like Kendall because she's so boring?
That's
Energy.
your literal cousin.
Like,
so
energy. And then they were
funny.
like, Kylie is way more fun.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah,
then
Mason's
again,
like 10, I want to say. Yeah, he's 10.
But
something like that.
even Northwest.
North ain't got no business on that goddamn TikTok.
exactly.
Rounds on live.
But
Can you
her
go?
following, and then can you say, oh yeah, well, she's responsible for what she
No,
puts out there?
no. I think there's obviously like context and
They
whatnot.
are itty bitty babies.
Someone replied to I think North was on Instagram Live, and someone put in the comments, do you know how to play the game Cash App?
No.
That's so bad. But they have no idea about consequence at that age. There's a reason why kids don't get prosecuted.
Yeah, I just
in the
meant more
same
your
way adults
audience.
do.
It's just if your audience
they
is
obviously
younger.
have no idea about consequence. But I kind of get what you're both saying.
Yeah.
But I just think if it were me
Yeah.
and you were given the opportunity to make a difference,
Yeah.
I would feel the responsibility to do
Okay.
that. Not that everybody else would feel that responsibility for themselves. I mean, the world might be a little bit of a better place if people took responsibility for the world that we live in. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm idealist.
Do you know what you think about it, right? All Molly-Mae had to, genuinely, all she had to say was, and perfect example.
Not gonna lie, guys, got lucky.
Grace Beverly in hers.
Yeah.
She has consistently over the years absolutely like accounted for her privilege all the time. And obviously, listen, Molly-Mae is unqualified. Molly-Mae was not about to be like, yeah, I'm a white cis het woman from but she was never going to say that. But all she had to say was, look, granted, I understand my privilege as a white woman and my class background. I get it's not going to be as hard as other people, but as far as I'm concerned, the way I see it is that we all have the same 24 hours technically, and I've used that to work hard to get where I am. Whether or not you agree, that's up to you. But from my point of view, that's it. She just had to acknowledge your privilege. That was it. And a bit of luck.
Yeah,
that
I agree.
the acknowledgement would have been fine. We'd have moved on.
Such a long way.
Yeah, that was
with
it.
the audience. But do you know what? I do think a lot of this is going to be very controversial. But I think a lot of people's initial knee-jerk reactions, like their emotional reactions, where is kind of reflective of their own insecurities and their own status in life.
Oh yeah,
100%. My first knee-jerk reaction was, fucking hell. Like, I didn't get angry because I am aware of my own capabilities and my own shortcomings, but I was kind of like, oh, fuck's sake, like why do you have to be so obtuse? Like, are you being purposefully obtuse? It's not
she's not,
like,
which is kind of the worst bit.
But then when you deep it for a second, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I can rationalise this. But the internet doesn't work that way. It's full of knee-jerk reactions, emotional reactions.
People hadn't seen that clip and probably commented on it.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, you do have to just like really sit there and be like, okay, why am I not achieving what I want to achieve? Like, do I think that she should have sat there and been like, I'm fucking sick and I've got all of this because I work really hard? Like, no, I don't think she should have sat there and said that because I think it's stupid and ignorant. But she is a child still. I mean, she's not a child, but she's still very young.
She has
living a sheltered life.
She's definitely lived a very sheltered life. Like, I think that's very evident.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say very well. I mean, maybe
not
I
comfortable.
Can only comment,
It's a comfortable life.
I can only comment on like what a northern family would be like with police officers in the family and stuff like that. And let me tell you, you've got to be smart with your money because it's not just a walk in the park. You don't get paid loads of money like everyone, like Twitter seemed to think. But she is from Hertfordshire. So that may be an indication of maybe their own generational...
It's not giving Croydon, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's not.
It's not like the hardest like place to come up in.
Yeah, definitely not.
Because she was like, I didn't come from loads of money. I was like, that's not what...
She said, no one said that.
I didn't have a pot to piss in.
Did she say that?
She said that.
No, she didn't.
She said, I've come from
like
not
Chance
having a
the
pot
Rapper?
to piss in.
Shut your...
And
no.
I thought, really? Like, really?
Do you know what really...
use that choice?
Do you know what really winds me up?
Do you know what
I don't think so.
Do you know, especially like people that you know where they were like, I came from nothing. I was like, I will literally tell your mum that you said that.
Yeah.
Because that's so disrespectful.
You're going to get a few licks next time you see your mum.
That is so
Drake.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like,
Drake loves to act as if he had a poor fatherless up. Sir, you were living just fine in Caledonia middle class house. Like, you were fine.
I was just like,
that's not to say that when she said she moved to Manchester, she was earning £1,000 a month and her rent was $900.
I get your skin.
But what I am saying...
You've known a little bit of struggle.
But what I am saying again...
you had the choice to get out of that risk.
It is all relative because now, I'm sure if she went back to that lifestyle, it would be hella povo.
Oh my God, yeah, that would never... She's never going to see that though.
But I think that's what she's thinking.
That lifestyle.
No, but I think that's kind of what she was saying because she was like, oh, well... When she said, oh, I didn't have a pot to piss in. Do you know what I mean? Like,
maybe that's her version of a pot to piss in. Oh, but you
But
know
I think
what?
if she's
She
thinking
needs to grow
how she's
up.
living now.
She needs to
So
grow
how
up
she's
and
living.
get grow up. B, she needs some friends, evidently, because Gal is friendless.
So this is kind of, I felt really uncomfortable with that because I know a lot of people, don't get me wrong, I quite like a small circle. Small circle. That doesn't mean like 1-2 people. A small circle is like, well, it's a small group of friends.
Friends is different from acquaintances. So I know a lot of people, but then
That's not my friend.
But when I say to friends, like it's people that I can confide in. Like,
Well, this is
do you know
the
what I mean?
same girl that was on Love Island saying, I've made friends for life.
Did she say that?
Yeah, with their little vlogs and whatnot. She's like, I've made friends
No
for life.
way.
With a little tear going down and whatnot. And then she's turning around and saying, do you know, I've got no mates. And I thought, if I was her friend, fuck you.
She doesn't
Fuck
though.
you,
She
my
just
help
has
you
like
no
her
more.
sister,
She
Fran and Tommy.
Yeah.
Like she loves her sister. Like her and her
No,
sister,
she's got
like,
more. What's her name? Moira.
Mora's a good friend
Yeah,
as
Moira's a
well.
good friend.
Yeah, but doesn't that show a lot to you? Like, there's no one to hold her accountable in her life.
Yeah, I was saying this. I was saying to Kenza that she has a lot of yes people around her, and granted, I'm sure there've been moments where they've been like people that are happy to tell her to not make the move if there's money involved, but they're people that the first time she said that 24-hour shit, somebody should have been like, you should probably take that out. You should probably not put that. Take that out of the brand.
Like even if that's generally what you think, probably don't say
Don't
that on
say
a
it.
microphone.
And no one
Sit her down and
thought.
go, listen, there's going to be consequences. I
Consequences.
don't know where you...
Consequences.
And she knew it was gonna
Serious
be.
consequences.
But, like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And, like, are you ready for that kind of thing?
Maybe she said yeah.
But maybe, just exactly as what you've just said there, maybe
take
she
it.
doesn't really care about the backlash because you're all broke bitches.
Yeah, basically.
Do you know what I mean? She's just like, you know,
Yeah,
but
she's
she's
like,
just
you're
like, you
broke.
know what, I get backlash for it, but I don't care.
It's
bitch
giving
stays
Chris Brown
hate.
vibes. Like, I don't
Yeah.
see how you can hate from outside.
Exactly.
You can't even get in.
She's like, I stay
Yeah.
paid.
So that actually might
and
be the
anything,
case.
the backlash has literally just increased.
Because again,
Her, like,
I
guess her market
I saw
value,
on
I
Twitter
guess.
this girl did a screenshot of her unfollowing Molly-Mae on her page. She goes, well, I use my own 24 hours wisely, and I was like, yeah, that really showed her.
Girl, she ain't even lost not
Why have you
not
got, like-
1p from that unfollow, let alone she didn't
Exactly.
even see the story. Probably
Exactly.
realistically,
Literally. She's
Yeah.
not even upset.
she
She's
doesn't.
Not, she's
the
only
way
got
I
more followers now than she did
yeah,
on that
100%,
podcast.
100%. The way Molly-Mae went on Do Not Disturb for 2 days, I was like, since y'all want to add crazy, let me
Oh
know
my
when you're
god,
ready.
the new Do Not Disturb, no notifications.
Oh, I
nothing.
love
She
that.
Went,
Guys, I haven't
ISO
updated
15?
yet.
Oh, what, you still
it is a
14?
dream.
So, because I'm really, really lazy, I just can't bear to plug my phone and allow it to update.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Even when I go
in
to
charge,
even when I go
yeah.
to sleep, I just put my phone like on the bedside table. I can't be bothered to.
It does it
ring over
for
and push-
you.
No, but I don't plug it in because like I'm always on low power mode. So
Always.
That makes
as in,
me
like, I just
feel
always keep it on.
physically
Oh
ill.
I just keep it on.
really?
So they were like, oh, you have to take it off low power mode and plug it in. I'm like,
Not you being
I
that
don't think I
stubborn.
will.
Wow, you really don't use your 24 hours wisely.
What were you gonna say about hustle culture?
So I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts because it was really interesting seeing the total switch in thought process and opinion on my Twitter timeline personally. So maybe I just need to start following different people. But on a regular, I just always hear like hustle hard, get more money, or like not as in like literally verbatim hustle hard.
I understand
as in,
like the ethos of it.
But do when people are like, I can't deal with this 9 to 5 broke culture. You have to be your own boss. You have to be an entrepreneur. Blah 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 blah.
That's a scary feed. We need to change that for you.
Yeah, but I feel but a lot of people say that, and a lot of people emulate that a lot.
Yeah.
And then technically, they should be agreeing with what Molly-Mae said because that's the stuff that they put out there. But all of a sudden, they're like, oh no, I don't agree.
But this is literally what I was saying the other day. I was talking to someone about the Molly-Mae thing, and I was talking about everyone's emotional reactions and like their own insecurities and stuff. And I was like, but do you know what it is? It's people putting that pressure on themselves when that's not even their vision of success.
Yeah.
Me, I could not think of anything worse than being like a creative director of a fashion brand. Look at me. Look at me right now. I've got my brother's top on. I've got shoes from when I had them in college, which I recently found. And I got gym leggings on. Could you imagine me actually having to make these decisions on a daily basis? Am I going to hold myself to the same fucking fashion standard as Molly-Mae? No. I don't care. I don't care about those things. However, one thing I do care about is getting to the point in my life with my own goals and my own like vision of what my success should be in the future. And like for some people, that's being a housewife with a stable husband, a stable family, like that's their success. So go out every day, use your 24 hours to get yourself a man, get yourself a rich Don, and settle down with kids, because that's your goal.
Shall I put that as the title? Use your 24 hours to get yourself a man.
Oh my god, yeah, that should be the soundbite.
Slightly misleading.
Welcome to media, baby.
Oh my god. But you know what I mean? So why are they sat there crying about Molly-Mae's 24 hours when really they should just spend 24 hours on Tinder and see what happens?
I mean,
snaps.
Okay, I kind of agree with bits and bobs of it, but that whole standpoint of strive for whatever you think success is, that is not the case for the age group we fall into, basically.
It isn't. It's always get money, get money, get money, get money, get money.
I always in like that.
If we're talking like we're generalizing, that is not. Don't get me wrong. Though you can feel a shift. You can definitely feel a shift. But generally speaking, when people have that mindset, it's because they've realized that their idea of success was 110% being framed by external factors, not what they truly wanted for themselves. B, the things that made them happy at 22 probably don't make them happy at 40.
And do you know what's really interesting that I find now? So maybe if you look back, maybe 10 years ago at people of our demographic, their view wasn't get money, get money, get money. It was kind of travel, have fun, do what you want. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I saw a lot of people in their like early 20s doing, like traveling. Doing
what you saying when we were younger? You
like, so like people in their 20s. That's what they were doing then.
Okay, right.
So like now, what it kind of seems like, I've seen less people. Like obviously we've got COVID, but even before that, I see a lot less people doing that. And I really like when I scroll on Instagram or I go on Twitter and I see that there's people in their mid-20s or their late 20s going to Cambodia or doing whatever, because the majority of people are now saying you need to use your 20s to hustle and make sure that you've made it by 30.
House,
do you know what I mean? Like, and
well, like, you don't want to buy a house.
And they were like, well, make sure that by 25 you've got you're on 30k, you've got a house, you've got a car.
I don't want that.
Exactly. But
I want to go 6 holidays a year instead.
But maybe people
that is what I want.
But maybe, like people do want to travel, but then because that's what everybody else is pressuring them into, they feel like a failure if they're doing anything else.
Yeah, I think.
Well, that's exactly my point. That is literally exactly my point. Like people are sitting there getting upset because Molly-Mae is saying you're only gonna be successful if you hustle 24 hours a day, I do. Like for certain roles. Okay, doctors, you have to put in one hell of a set of shifts
for a long time as well.
A lot of
before
studying,
you start
a lot of back-breaking work, a lot of like high-stakes situations. That is stress. That's a lot. But some people, that is their thrill. That is what they love. That's what they were born to do almost. Yeah. That's not me. I'm not gonna hold myself to that standard and get upset because someone's telling me like this is the only thing to be successful. What I do get annoyed about is like literally I can sit here and I work 3 jobs. Am I a millionaire? No. Do I spend most of my time working? Yes. Do I only sleep 4 hours a night? Yes. Like, does that mean that I'm rich? No. But do I have fun? Yeah, I make sure I've got enough money to have fun. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like I might be old and decrepit in a couple of years. You don't know. It's already sounding like a round of applause every time I stand up. So like, you gotta get your fun in while you can. For me, but I'm not gonna tell other people, you know, you're not having enough fun. Okay, I might do sometimes, but that's if people are stressed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't work yourself into a frenzy trying to reach somebody else's goal. Like,
no. But I do think there has been a shift, which has a lot to do with like the pandemic, like people have time to think on like what they really want out of life and whatnot,
6 side hustles
and stuff like that.
Second job.
I just think though there is, I don't know. I'm very like at the end of the day, do you want to look back and be like, yeah, I just worked throughout all my 20s, just worked really, really hard, and I bought a house by the time I was 20. did you go out once? Did you get your back blown out once? Did you get food once? Did you even go see the new fucking like I'm just thinking, and I'm not saying, can I clarify those just examples of things that might make you happy? I'm just saying generally. No, not me. I'm just saying, I'm like, that's great. That's fantastic.
Did you eat lobster once?
Did you drink some champagne once? Like, God. But I do think that people that have that sort of mindset where they're like hustle, that is a direct effect of like seeing your parent. That's what you're, if you, depending on how like your parents' story into this country, that's what you've seen. Mum's working three jobs, dad's working 2 jobs. You've never seen a date night in your life ever between those two. Go to bed, raise, take the kids to school. Like in your head,
guys, I'm not laughing.
I need to take a minute.
No, but you genuinely think, because as a result of the way you've been socialized, that's normal.
They have 2 single beds.
Do you think your mum wanted to be going cleaning in the morning, post office in the evening, doing care work in the coming back, cooking food, dealing with your blood clot dad and you?
And your dad's on a plane to Nigeria.
Right. Do you actually think that's what she wanted to do? But then people are like, nah, but I saw my mum hustle. Yeah, because she had to. Because you had to. You don't have to. You actually don't have to. You really don't. You can work. You don't. You don't have to do that. So fucking sit back and have a zoo. Like, I just think it's ridiculous. I'm really, really against it. I'm really against hustle culture. I'm not a fan, basically.
Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I'll see it, one of the posts, I think, yeah, let's go do it, and then I think I've got no fucking nout left in the tank.
I've got nothing left.
I've got nothing left.
Sorry, no.
And this post telling me to go out and hustle at 20 to 10 at night. I've got nothing left.
I'm like, I've got nothing left. And millions of people across the world work incredibly hard and do not see any fruition. And there are loads of people that don't do fuck all and see millions in their account.
Do you know something that like clicks for me?
So,
do you know what, something that clicks for me? I think it was
like
something that happened like early last year. So it was somebody that I was just like knew like on an acquaintance level, and they're like, oh yeah, so how old are you, by the way? So I was like, oh yeah, so I was like, I think I was like 23 or 24. Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm 23, and they're like, really? I thought you were 27. Not obviously because I look not like you would look.
These days have been hard
but
on me.
Lower your tone.
Because of my job and what I do and stuff like that.
Quite intense, yeah.
That's just what they assumed, and then I was like, rotted. I'm 23. And even in my head sometimes, I didn't completely acknowledge and accept the fact that I was 23. And I didn't feel like that. And I was like, Estelle, you're in your early 20s. What go on with you? Like, relax. Have a bit more fun. Like, not that I wasn't having fun, but I was just like, Estelle, like, what is this mindset that you've ended up getting into? So I was like, you know what? So even now at 25, yes, I'll work hard at my job. But best believe I'm taking my 1 hour break. I do not get into that office 1 minute before 9. Like 1 minute before 9.
It's crazy you were doing that beforehand.
Whereas like at 5,
I'm still
I leave.
trying to work my way out of that. Like, I have only just started taking lunches. And the whole time I've worked at my job, I took a couple of lunches when I first started working there. And I've worked through every lunch. I get there early to make sure I can get a coffee and then start and be into the work by 9 o'clock. And then literally, and I'm telling you, you do not get rewarded for it. And I've literally been telling everybody else. I've been telling everybody else this year, do what you're contracted to do because they don't care.
When you die on Monday, your job's posted up on Wednesday, darling.
No, they're saying why you're not in.
It's different.
So why you're not in.
But the thing is, I'm also saying like, because I was doing staff supervisions like last week, and I was literally saying to my staff, I was like, okay, are you taking your breaks? They're like, oh no, I just don't take it. I just work through it. And I'm like, you do realise that
you signed a contract, by the way.
I was like, so they get an hour break. What half an hour is unpaid, the other half is paid. And I'm like, so if you're working through it, you're working for free. That is silly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's stupid. Yeah. So I'm a bit like, so I was like, why don't you like do stuff on your break to help sure you get, like, to make sure that you do something. But like, well, what can I do? I'm like, well, you said your friend lives across you. Why don't you see them? But you're like, but I'm at work. But you're not working at that time. Like, come on, guys.
Do what you want. I've literally that's why I've been doing all my gym sessions at lunchtime. So I have to go take a lunch because otherwise I will work through. I literally don't eat. I won't eat at points. And then literally, this is the thanks I'll get is if I go to put something in my mouth and the phone goes, they'll be like, why the hell are you not picking up the phone? Because I haven't took a break. Can I eat something? Well, you know, like, you need to pick up the phone. Yeah, I get that. I know I need to pick up the phone. I know that, but everybody else doesn't get questioned about when their break is. But everyone's so used to me not taking one. I didn't take holidays last year.
Exactly. But the thing is,
I didn't take holidays.
I'm not going to lie, in 2020 especially, it was very easy not to take holidays. So I realised, I think it was by December, that I had not taken one day annual leave. Why? Because everyone was on lockdown. I started going to the office and work.
2020. Last year was 2021, huh?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, but if you're working from home especially and certain things are in lockdown and you can't go out and do anything, you're like, well, what's the point? Because I've got nothing else to do. So, like, for me, it's just, like, boundary setting. Like, yes, you've got your work and whatever, but you've also got your life.
People out there, though, because you see it all over social media. You see it when you talk to your friends. You see they don't actually care if you've come in 15 minutes early. They're not going to go, good job. Like,
oh, no.
And it doesn't matter how many times you sit there and you can go, do you know what? I've worked extra. I've done this extra, whatever. I literally don't remember the last problem or mistake I've made. Like, and will I get praised for that? Do I get raised for that?
Bro, your managers suck because mine are really good.
I'm not gonna lie to you, like, recognition is a big place in my workplace. Like, that's a big
like, for us,
thing.
like, recognition's really big.
Are really bringing that in, but did they hire all the time? No, they don't. They don't hire all the time because switching industries is the hardest thing you can do. When
It's the best time to do it, though.
Look at Molly-Mae's bloody.
Oh yeah.
Did you see her?
But that
job
wasn't her
posting?
personally.
It wasn't her.
But
I know, but people. I just thought, guys, it's
you have a say.
corporate. Like,
It's corporate.
You have a say on these things.
No,
That's not Pretty Little Thing.
As someone in management, you don't have say on stuff like that.
That was her app. She has say.
Are you on about the tan? Are you talking about Pretty Little Thing?
I'm not talking about Pretty Little Thing.
She has an app.
There was it was for an app thing. It was like Fit app or something.
Oh, I didn't know she had an app.
I thought it was
for her tanning product.
Yeah, that's what
yeah. Granted, for that. Can I just say, just because she's the face of that, she probably has a CEO that actually runs that product, that company.
She's creative director. Like, whilst that is a massive thing,
Sis ain't seen the accounts ever. she does not see. She has never. When's the last time she saw a payslip?
I'm not even doing it to attack Molly-Mae. I'm doing it as a representation of the job market now. Like, you've got to have 50 million things of experience and degrees and whatever. And then only to get into a job where you see other people that have been working it for time that don't have any of those things. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it all can be learned.
Yeah.
But companies don't put in place processes or even schemes or anything to help those that might not be able to go down that route. Not everyone is academic enough for university, but they can learn how to do a fucking job well.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel
definitely.
like even I've been looking to move industries for a while now because I want experience in different things. But to get that experience, you need experience. Do you know how crazy that is? Like, you can't.
It's not. I don't think anyone is disputing that it's difficult, but I think it's. I don't know. I don't explain it. It's
just use your 24 hours better.
Yeah, Hannah. Just use your 24 hours better. But I do think hustle culture sometimes. Like, would it just quit?
Get things all work out. I don't know what
Guys,
magic blanket they've got that's gonna catch them. I just don't know where you think we live.
Just quit like that. Yeah, I do think that it's kind of in the same vein as what Molly-Mae said. I think it's very, very ignorant, naive to just tell someone just quit.
Do you know
what I mean? Because it's definitely privileged to
during uni, especially people who weren't liking uni.
Who weren't what? Sorry,
who weren't liking uni. And I'm talking about people in end of second year or maybe third year, and people are like, well, just drop out. And the thing is, right, I can understand. I can understand why people say that in first year, especially if you've only done the first semester. Yeah. Because that isn't affecting your funding. But like, by the time now, I'm like, if you are literally going into third year,
darling, got to ride it out.
Honestly, it's I couldn't advise against that enough. If you have to cry every night, you will make up for it.
Isn't that what uni's all about?
Like, the third year, we're all going through it.
I was like,
you look
so
around the library, everyone's in tears, and it's great.
Not just quitting, going into third year.
I remember in uni, I'd be in the library, and like I remember, like, because I was just like, this is just not going in, and I'm just finding it really overwhelming. I was crying, and like
Which library were you in?
Eddie B.
Oh, Eddie, do you know what Eddie?
Oh.
Do you know how split Eddie B is?
Yeah.
Like the higher up the floor you get,
The serious.
the more serious.
I was
Because
crying on
downstairs.
floor. I was crying on floor 12.
Oh,
So-
I never touched
so
floor 12.
You were
sorry.
one of them people
So
on
one of my
Yik
friends was
Yak,
like,
innit?
Yeah.
one of my friends, no, that's actually a lie. I was in
I see
Laidlaw.
this girl
It was
crying.
Laidlaw.
Laidlaw.
It was
I'm a
Laidlaw.
Laidlaw
No,
girl.
Laidlaw was a link up.
I'm a Laidlaw girl.
Laidlaw was an absolute link
When?
up. I
I'm
went to
not
do
even gonna
shenanigans
lie.
there. I was
To
just
be
like,
fair, Laidlaw was
I'm not even gonna lie. You could walk through Laidlaw and see me dancing
Like-
like this on my
Laidlaw
dance
was
break.
very eclectic though. You had a mix. So like I'd seen a guy who'd got a pillow out and he just
yeah.
yeah.
In
so
the
it was
little
a mix.
pot, yeah, it was
But
a
anyway,
bit.
like I was saying, like, I was literally sat there crying, and my friend was like, "Just stop," and I'm like, "Oh, I have no time,"
Let me
and I was
just-
just wiping my tears, and I'm like, "It's all right."
No.
Still see.
The last bit of this stupid masters, thank God it's done. And I was also working full time. Guys, after work, my housemates would literally see me and I'm like, I've got to go. And they'd be like, where are you going? I'm like, don't ask me where I'm going. I'm going upstairs. Obviously, I've
Yeah.
got work to do. Do you know how one day I just like got home at 6, cried for a good 45 minutes, and then went,
I don't have time for this.
I was like, if I have
Honest
to
to
read
God.
that
Yeah, but
one
the thing
more
is,
time.
but Kaycee,
It's done now.
Molly-Mae would be proud.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? You do. I'm not gonna lie to
I
you.
hope
You
you're
know
all
when you,
stamped your time sheets.
when you do that, also I only worked that hard because I put it off so long. But like when you do put that much effort into something, there is a bit more like you have to do
Yeah.
that.
And then you can say, you know what?
Yeah.
Because I believe she did cry.
yeah,
at some point.
shed a tear.
Listen. That's you can sympathise on that way because the way I'd literally put everything off till the end of the. I'm a crammer, innit? I'm
Yeah,
a crammer.
literally.
I'm a crammer by nature. I love it. I cannot do the slow and steady. Let's just learn this as we go. all
Depends
year
on what
round.
it
I
is,
can't.
but yeah.
It's gonna go in and out of my ear. If you haven't gripped me in the lecture, I'm gonna have to learn it on my own time because you're boring me. It's not gonna go in.
You're burning me.
It's the way it goes.
I've seen a lecture where people have like left with
Literally
midway
left.
through.
Yeah,
Me-
I've fallen asleep in lectures.
I've
Seminars. You know how intimate that is now.
You fallen asleep seminars?
Yep.
Everyone's gonna know.
I was basically still drunk from the night before, so you
Standard.
can't really at me. But I did the damn work, and I
Oh.
put my hand up, and I participated and snoozed in between. I still did what I needed to do.
You must have been a nightmare.
And
I
I-
hated to be in your seminar.
Actually,
bro.
that
Oh,
lecture.
just because you were doing
I
up,
was
I've
with
read
the
an extra
favourite,
chapter to talk
innit?
about. Yeah.
Shut up. But I'd rock up to Laidlaw. I'd rock up to Laidlaw 5:30 in the morning, right? And I would stay there till 2 in the morning, waltz myself back through the streets of Hyde Park, and then do it all again tomorrow. And I'd do that for each exam. I'd set out like 4 days that I'd do that, and that'd just be dedicated.
That's scary.
Dedicated. Don't talk to me, don't anything. You'd see me odd times in the day. I'd stop for a Beyonce dance break to release it all, like they do in Grey's Anatomy. Me and
Yeah.
Shuba be in there busting it up, and then we both quietly look at each other, put our earphones back in, and then go about our business for the next 4 hours. Then we'll have another little.
God,
we might
that's
treat ourselves
crazy.
to some picnic. Do you know what I mean?
Cheeky charcos.
That's all it was. I made friends in the library. I had people that I still speak to now.
Yeah,
like,
you-
Yeah, but
Laidlaw
the
was
thing is, though,
actually-
if you were working hard enough, you wouldn't have those friends in the library.
Yeah.
oh,
At least you
apparently
made
don't need
friends.
Sorry, but I think you can multitask.
I think it's mad that she's actually perpetuated the idea that if you are at that level, I don't know whether she's speaking for herself personally or if she is just talking about generally,
Yeah.
that she's saying like if you want to be at that level or be in that, I don't know, whatever bubble, you have to have one or the other. You can't have
A social life and
that. Yeah. But maybe
just not how
maybe,
life
Maybe
works.
she's just thinking for her personally, but then again, at the end
She
of the
also
day,
doesn't have an issue with it. Is also.
but she
She's like-
might not work smart. She might just work hard and not smart. Do you know what I mean?
But then again, I'm
there
not.
are people.
I'm
that,
not at that place where she is for me to be able to evaluate why she may have said that.
Yeah, because she didn't.
Because I can only imagine. Okay, yes, she's come out of Love Island, so already she's had loads of exposure, and now she's got even more money because she's the creative director. Yeah, I understand maybe that she's thinking that a lot of relationships that she does now have in her life are transactional. So she's like, you know what, I'd just rather not call them my friends, and I'd just say that they are people that I know. So maybe when she says she doesn't have friends, she's being very literal because she's saying
I
friends are
don't think
people
you
that
can
I
even
hold
put that
dear.
on Molly-Mae because it's Stephen Bartlett that said it. He was like, a lot of people that have sat in that seat and come onto this podcast have said the same thing.
But
like, and I think
this was before she's done
personally-
the podcast. I've heard her say stuff like,
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like this,
no doubt. But in that podcast, it was Stephen Bartlett that was saying that that's like perpetuating that sort of ideal that, you know what, you got to keep your circle small or that's it. Well, no, you don't have to do that at all. And it is one of those things where people get confused with the aspirational side of like success in those CEO lifestyles, where they think, right, you've got to keep your friend group small. You
probably do though.
You've got to hustle all day, every day, like whatever. You just do whatever you want to do at the end of the day. Yeah. If you want to be friends with every man and his son, like, do that, innit?
Sorry, right. This is a complete random tangent, but it just reminds me of
Doesn't sound like your style.
But has anybody seen that video of Kanye West and his circle of friends at like a
oh my god, that's the
house
most
party?
bizarre thing I've ever seen in my
What,
entire
where everyone
life.
keeps saying it looks like an afters?
Yeah, so it's basically him, Madonna, his new gal.
Oh, yeah. That
She's
does look
like
like...
rubbing up her
It
own
looks
leg.
really look like
It
a
was the
very...
most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
That's a very
If I'd seen
like,
that on
afters.
Snapchat, I wouldn't have looked twice and
Honest
realised they
to
were
God,
famous people.
Kanye changes his friends like he changes his knickers.
Which
He
shows
just
that you don't
doesn't
have to have a
care.
small circle
This
of
guy,
friends.
and he is so
Does
rich.
Kanye have friends?
Let's not open that.
Yeah,
Well,
do you get what I
don't
mean?
He might get upset if you say
But
that.
now, literally.
Reckless.
But yeah, I don't want to call what speak for devil. He's looking at me. I wouldn't like.
What?
He's like, I do have
Oh yeah,
friends.
sorry. we've got a massive.
Why
picture
is
of
she
Kanye.
turning around like what? As if
Sorry, I
Kanye
thought-
was stood in the middle of the room.
It's been a long day.
I was like, what?
Oh
The ray
my
is hitting
God.
In Lickle Leeds.
In Lickle Leeds. Probably love it.
That I think I'm just running away with myself. So I think, you know what, that's all I've got to say on this.
What, on Molly-Mae?
On Molly-Mae, on
Hustle
hustle culture, on my 24 hours. I'm using my 24 hours how I want to spend them.
Yeah. And
I
everyone
mean-
else should do that, in all honesty.
I think what people should take away with it is, like, before you get upset about what celebrities say, right, just think about your own life and what you actually want for yourself and see that.
Yeah.
Even if that even aligns with what you even give a shit about in today.
'Cause if it doesn't-
everyday life.
That's really, really true, because I think some people can get so caught up with, I don't like what you said, but is it relevant to you?
You.
Do you know what?
Do you know what I mean?
Do what we all do and change your Twitter feed to everyone that's just funny. So even when there's bad news to be delivered, it comes in the form of a meme, and I
Yeah.
can stomach it a little
What
bit
I'm
better.
taking away from this entire discussion is that some people should just use their 24 hours to get a man.
Sorry.
Oh my
what you
God.
said.
I can't believe you looked at me when you said that. So rude.
When you said it, I was like, girl, take a leaf.
No
Take a
way.
leaf.
Oh.
What?
That is such a mad
Girl,
way to end that, you
take a
know.
leaf.
That's a really mad way to end that.
No, but it was hilarious. Like, I was just like, girl, I was like, you were saying that with vim. The arms are going, the chest are going.
Listen,
my
that went for me. That was for people that want to be housewives. Me, I want a fun
That's a
job.
word for somebody.
Oh,
God.
my Lord.
How-
And on that note, I'm
Yeah,
out.
honestly.